Most people are being quietly priced out of retirement, and the truth is, nobody really warned them. For decades, Americans were told a simple story about retirement. Work hard, save what you can, pay into Social Security, and when the time comes, that monthly check will help carry you through the rest of your life. But something changed. Rent started climbing. Utilities started creeping upward. Basic groceries suddenly began feeling like luxury purchases. And yet millions of retirees are still trying to survive on the same Social Security checks they were counting on years ago. On paper, the math shouldn't work. But somehow, in a few overlooked corners of the United States, it still does. Here's the part no one talks about out loud. Living comfortably on Social Security isn't impossible, it's just location dependent. Some states exploded in price almost overnight. Housing markets surged. Property taxes jumped. Insurance premiums ballooned. Suddenly, the same retirement budget that worked 10 years ago now feels completely inadequate. But other places, they stayed calm, quiet, reasonable. Almost like they missed the memo that everything in America was supposed to get expensive. And those are the places we're exploring today. Because if you've ever looked at your monthly Social Security income and thought to yourself, this should be enough, why doesn't it feel like enough? You're not alone. The problem usually isn't the check itself. It's where that check is being spent. Housing, property taxes, insurance, utilities, everyday living costs. Those are the real retirement killers, and they don't hit every state the same way. In some parts of the country, your Social Security check barely survives the first week of the month. In others, it stretches comfortably across all 4 weeks. That's why today we're uncovering 10 hidden affordable states where retirees are quietly living well on Social Security. Places where fixed income living doesn't feel like financial punishment. Places where everyday life is manageable. Places where retirees aren't constantly one surprise bill away from stress. These aren't the loud, overhyped retirement hotspots that show up in glossy magazines. They're the quieter ones, the practical ones, the places that still work. Stay with me until the end because the top 3 states on this list surprise almost everyone. And one of them might completely change how you think about retiring in America. And if you believe retirement should be about peace of mind, not financial anxiety, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Because here, we focus on clarity over hype, facts over fear, and smart planning over wishful thinking. Alright, let's begin the countdown. Number 10, Missouri. While many states spent the last decade turning everyday life into an expensive experiment, Missouri mostly shrugged and kept doing what it has always done, keeping things reasonable. And for retirees living on Social Security, that quiet reliability is incredibly valuable. Missouri doesn't dominate retirement headlines. It doesn't market itself as a glamorous retirement destination. You won't see massive advertising campaigns convincing retirees to move there. But the people who already live there understand something important. Sometimes the best places to retire are the ones that aren't trying to sell themselves. One of Missouri's biggest advantages for retirees is simple but powerful. The state does not tax Social Security benefits. That means the check you've spent decades earning arrives intact. No surprise deductions, no complicated exemptions, no bureaucratic fine print quietly shaving dollars off your income. What you receive is what you keep, and when you're living on a fixed income, every dollar matters. Now let's talk real numbers, because retirement decisions should always start with math. For a single retiree living in Missouri, the estimated monthly cost of living typically falls between $1,400 and $1,900 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, basic daily living expenses. In smaller towns and rural communities, many retirees live comfortably closer to the $1,400 range. Even in mid-sized cities like Springfield, Columbia, or St. Joseph, living costs remain manageable compared to the national average. Housing is where Missouri truly shines. Across much of the state, home prices remain well below the national average, especially once you step outside major metro areas. That means retirees aren't forced into tiny, overpriced apartments just to stay within budget. In fact, many retirees in Missouri still own modest single-family homes. complete with small yards, garages, and actual breathing room. It's something that's becoming increasingly rare in higher-cost states. Property taxes also remain relatively moderate, helping retirees keep long-term housing costs predictable. Predictability matters more than people realize, because when you're living on a fixed income, stability is everything. You want to know what your expenses will look like next month and next year. Missouri offers that kind of financial calm. Daily living costs are also refreshingly reasonable. Groceries are affordable compared to coastal states. Utilities tend to stay manageable throughout the year, and transportation costs remain low thanks to lighter traffic and shorter driving distances. In many Missouri towns, running errands still feels like, well, running errands, not a financial event, and that alone makes everyday life noticeably less stressful. Healthcare access is another quiet strength. Missouri has a strong network of regional hospitals and medical centers, especially in mid-sized cities. For retirees relying on Medicare, that balance between affordability and access to care is incredibly important. You don't want to choose between reasonable living costs and reliable health care. Missouri offers both, but numbers only tell part of the story. Lifestyle matters too. Missouri offers something many retirees are starting to appreciate more and more: space and simplicity. Life moves a little slower. Communities feel more connected. There's less pressure to constantly spend money just to stay entertained. Parks, lakes, local events, and community gatherings provide plenty of ways to stay active without draining your budget. In other words, retirement in Missouri doesn't revolve around spending, it revolves around living. Missouri isn't flashy. It doesn't promise luxury retirement living, but what it offers instead might be far more valuable: stability, predictability, and financial breathing room. And when you're living on Social Security, that's not boring. That's smart. Number 9. Kentucky. Kentucky is one of those states that rarely makes flashy retirement lists. And honestly, that's part of the reason it still works so well. While some states turned retirement into a marketing industry building expensive communities, luxury developments, and retirement resorts, Kentucky mostly stayed grounded. It kept life simple. And for retirees living on Social Security, simple can be incredibly powerful, because retirement isn't about glossy amenities or expensive lifestyle packages. It's about being able to live comfortably without worrying about every dollar, and Kentucky quietly delivers that. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in Kentucky typically falls between $1,350 and $1,850 per month. That includes the essentials: housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, everyday living expenses in smaller towns and rural communities. Many retirees find themselves living closer to the lower end of that range, sometimes even below it. And that's where Social Security really begins to stretch. Housing plays a huge role in that equation. Across much of Kentucky, both home prices and rental costs remain well below the national average. And unlike some states where affordable housing has practically disappeared, Kentucky still offers plenty of modest homes at reasonable prices. We're talking about real houses, not tiny condos or cramped apartments. Actual homes with driveways, small yards, and quiet neighborhoods. For retirees who spend decades working and raising families, that sense of normalcy can make a big difference. Property taxes in Kentucky also remain relatively manageable compared to many other parts of the country. That means long-term housing costs stay predictable, something retirees value more than ever. Because the last thing anyone wants in retirement is a sudden tax bill that throws the entire budget off balance. But housing is only one piece of the affordability puzzle. Daily living costs in Kentucky stay refreshingly reasonable. Groceries don't feel dramatically inflated. Utility bills tend to remain manageable throughout the year. Even transportation costs stay lower thanks to shorter travel distances and lighter traffic compared to large metropolitan areas. In many Kentucky towns, you can drive across town in 10 minutes. That may sound small, but over the course of a year, it means less fuel, less stress, and fewer hidden expenses. Healthcare is another important piece of the puzzle. Kentucky offers a solid network of hospitals, clinics, and regional medical centers, especially in mid-sized cities like Lexington, Bowling Green, and Owensboro. For retirees on Medicare, access to reliable health care without big city price tags can make retirement much more secure. And then there's the lifestyle. Kentucky is known for its friendly communities, slower pace of life, and beautiful rolling landscapes. Life here isn't built around constant consumption. You don't feel pressured to spend money just to feel like you're participating in life. Community events, local parks, scenic drives, and small-town gatherings provide plenty of ways to stay active without constantly reaching for your wallet. And when you combine that lifestyle with manageable costs, something interesting happens. Social Security stops feeling like survival money. It starts feeling like living money. Kentucky may not advertise itself as a retirement paradise, but for many retirees, that quiet practicality is exactly what makes it work. Number 8. Kansas. Kansas proves something many Americans are starting to rediscover. Affordability doesn't require sacrifice. It doesn't require chaos. And it certainly doesn't require lowering your standards. While some states seem to constantly test how much retirees are willing to tolerate financially, Kansas takes a different approach. It keeps life predictable. And predictability is one of the most valuable things a retiree can have. Because when you're living on Social Security, uncertainty is the real enemy. Unexpected rent increases, surprise taxes, exploding insurance costs. Those are the things that make retirement stressful. Kansas, for the most part, avoids that pattern. Let's look at the numbers. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in Kansas typically falls between $1,350 and $1,800 per month. That covers housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, basic living expenses, and just like many states on this list, smaller towns and rural areas often sit closer to the lower end of that range. But even in mid-sized cities like Wichita, Topeka, or Salina, life remains manageable on a fixed income. Housing once again plays a major role. Across Kansas, home prices and rental costs remain consistently below the national average. This means retirees aren't forced into extreme downsizing just to survive financially. Many still enjoy modest homes with single-level layouts, garages, and comfortable neighborhoods. And that matters more than people realize, because retirement should feel like stability, not like constant adjustment. Property taxes vary by county, but in many areas they remain reasonable enough to keep long-term housing costs under control. Utilities are another pleasant surprise. Kansas experiences both hot summers and cold winters, yet monthly utility bills tend to stay manageable. Retirees don't face the same extreme heating costs seen in northern states or the massive air conditioning bills common in the far south. Daily living expenses also remain balanced. Groceries are affordable. Local services aren't priced like luxury experiences. And everyday life doesn't demand constant spending. In Kansas, there is far less pressure to keep up. That cultural difference stretches retirement income further than people expect. Transportation costs are also relatively low. With lighter traffic, shorter commutes, and less congestion, fuel usage stays manageable. Running errands doesn't require an hour-long drive across crowded highways. That might sound small, but over time, those savings add up. Healthcare access is another strength. Kansas offers a dependable network of hospitals, clinics, and regional medical centers, especially in larger towns and mid-sized cities. For retirees on Medicare, that balance between access and affordability is critical, because medical care should be reliable, not financially overwhelming. Lifestyle-wise, Kansas offers something retirees often crave but rarely find in expensive states: peace, wide-open spaces, friendly communities, and a pace of life that doesn't constantly demand more money. Kansas isn't flashy. It's not trying to sell retirees a dream. Instead, it offers something far more valuable: stability. And on Social Security, stability can make all the difference. Number 7, Alabama. Alabama doesn't shout about retirement. It doesn't flood television with retirement commercials. And it doesn't build massive luxury retirement resorts designed to attract wealthy newcomers. Instead, Alabama focuses on something far more practical: keeping everyday life affordable. And right now, that practicality is incredibly valuable. Because for retirees living on Social Security, simplicity often works better than luxury. For a single retiree in Alabama, the estimated monthly cost of living typically falls between $1,300 and $1,800 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, everyday living expenses. In smaller towns and rural communities, many retirees find themselves comfortably living toward the lower end of that range. Even mid-sized cities like Huntsville, Mobile, and Montgomery remain relatively affordable compared to much of the country. Housing once again stands out as a major advantage. Home prices across much of Alabama remain well below the national average. Rental prices are also far more manageable than in coastal or high-growth states. That means retirees don't feel like their Social Security check disappears the moment housing costs are paid. Many retirees here still enjoy modest homes, quiet neighborhoods, and manageable property taxes. And that sense of financial breathing room changes the entire retirement experience. Daily expenses stay reasonable as well. Groceries are affordable. Utility costs remain manageable throughout the year. While summers do require air conditioning, heating costs are often lower than in northern states. Transportation costs are also relatively low. Traffic congestion remains limited compared to large urban centers, which keeps fuel consumption down. In many Alabama communities, errands can be completed quickly without long drives or expensive commuting. Healthcare access is another strength. The state offers a solid network of hospitals and regional medical centers, particularly in larger towns and cities. For retirees on Medicare, that means reliable access to care without the premium pricing found in major metropolitan areas. Lifestyle plays a big role in Alabama's appeal as well. The state offers warm weather, scenic landscapes, and a slower pace of life that many retirees find refreshing. There's less pressure to constantly spend money to stay entertained. Outdoor activities, local festivals, community gatherings, and historic towns offer plenty to do without stretching the budget. Alabama doesn't promise luxury retirement living, but it delivers something that many retirees value even more: affordability, stability, and room to breathe. Number 6, Oklahoma. Few places in America still understand the value of keeping life simple, and that simplicity is exactly why Oklahoma quietly earns its place on this list. While many retirees across the country feel like every bill arrives with a new surprise attached, Oklahoma tends to keep expenses calm and predictable. And when you're living on Social Security, predictability isn't just nice, it's essential, because retirement planning only works when the numbers stay stable. In Oklahoma, they usually do. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living typically ranges between $1,300 and $1,750 per month. That figure includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, everyday living expenses in smaller towns and rural communities. Many retirees live comfortably closer to the $1,300 range. Even in mid-sized cities like Tulsa, Norman, or Oklahoma City suburbs, life remains manageable compared to the soaring costs seen in larger states. Housing is one of Oklahoma's biggest strengths. Home prices and rents remain among the most affordable in the country. That means your Social Security check doesn't vanish the moment housing payments are due. Many retirees still enjoy modest single-story homes, manageable property taxes, and neighborhoods that feel stable rather than constantly changing. This stability is something many retirees miss in high-growth states where housing markets swing wildly. Daily expenses in Oklahoma follow the same pattern. Groceries remain affordable. Utilities stay manageable even during hot summers. Transportation costs stay low thanks to shorter travel distances and less congestion. In many towns across Oklahoma, running errands still takes 15 minutes, not an hour. That may sound small, but over time, those savings in fuel, maintenance, and stress add up significantly. Another advantage many retirees appreciate is the overall cost of services. Whether it's home maintenance, dining out, or local services, prices remain grounded compared to expensive coastal states. Life here hasn't been turned into a premium subscription, and that stretches retirement income further than many people expect. Healthcare access also plays an important role. Oklahoma has a strong network of hospitals, clinics, and regional medical centers spread across the state. While it may not have the density of large metropolitan healthcare systems, many retirees find the balance between affordability and access works surprisingly well. Lifestyle matters too. Oklahoma offers a slower, quieter rhythm of life. Communities are friendly, neighborhoods feel connected, and there is far less pressure to constantly spend money just to stay entertained. Parks, lakes, small-town festivals, and local events provide plenty of ways to stay active without constantly opening your wallet. In the end, Oklahoma doesn't try to sell retirees a dream lifestyle. It offers something much more valuable: stability. And for someone living on Social Security, stability can mean the difference between stress and peace of mind. Number 5. Arkansas. Some states make retirement feel like a constant financial negotiation. Arkansas does the opposite. It quietly offers something retirees crave more than anything else: affordability without friction. Life in Arkansas isn't flashy, it isn't overhyped, and it certainly isn't overpriced. But that's exactly why it works. For retirees trying to stretch a fixed Social Security income, every dollar matters. And Arkansas makes those dollars go further. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in Arkansas typically ranges between $1,300 and $1,750 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, daily living expenses. In smaller towns and rural communities, many retirees comfortably live closer to the lower end of that range. Even in mid-sized cities like Little Rock, Fayetteville, or Fort Smith, life remains far more affordable than in many parts of the country. Housing is where Arkansas really stands out. Home prices remain well below the national average across much of the state. Rental prices are also significantly lower than what retirees encounter in coastal markets. That means Social Security checks aren't instantly swallowed by housing costs. Many retirees in Arkansas still enjoy modest homes, quiet streets, and stable neighborhoods. Property taxes remain manageable as well, helping keep long-term housing costs predictable. Predictability, once again, is the secret ingredient that makes retirement work. Daily living costs follow the same pattern. Groceries remain affordable. Utility bills stay reasonable year-round. Transportation costs remain low thanks to shorter travel distances and lighter traffic. In Arkansas, basic living hasn't been turned into a luxury product, and that alone stretches retirement income much further. Another major advantage for retirees is taxation. Arkansas does not tax Social Security benefits. That means retirees keep more of every check they receive. When you're living on a fixed income, that small detail can make a significant difference month after month. Healthcare access also contributes to Arkansas's appeal. The state has a solid network of regional hospitals and medical centers, particularly in larger towns and mid-sized cities. Many retirees find the balance between affordability and healthcare access works very well here. Lifestyle-wise, Arkansas offers something that many expensive retirement destinations can't provide anymore: calm, beautiful natural landscapes, quiet communities, and a slower pace of life. The Ozark Mountains, lakes, forests, and scenic parks provide endless opportunities for outdoor activities that cost very little. Fishing, walking trails, scenic drives, local events, all without draining a retirement budget. Arkansas doesn't promise luxury retirement, but what it offers instead might be even better: a place where life simply costs what it should cost. And for retirees on Social Security, that can feel like a hidden advantage. Number 4. Mississippi. This is where the list starts surprising people, because Mississippi consistently ranks as one of the lowest cost of living states in the entire United States. And that's not marketing hype, that's math. While many states saw dramatic price increases over the last decade, Mississippi remained one of the most affordable places to live in America. For retirees living on Social Security, that difference can be life-changing. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in Mississippi typically ranges between $1,200 and $1,700 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, everyday expenses. In smaller towns and rural communities, many retirees comfortably live near the lower end of that range. Even in mid-sized cities like Jackson, Gulfport, or Hattiesburg, costs remain far below the national average. Housing is Mississippi's greatest financial advantage. Median home prices remain among the lowest in the country. Rental prices are also significantly lower than what retirees face in most other states. That means Social Security income stretches much further here. Many retirees can still afford modest homes with manageable property taxes and stable neighborhoods. In some areas, retirees even find homes priced well below what they would pay for a small condo in expensive states. Daily living expenses also remain grounded. Groceries are affordable, utilities stay manageable throughout the year. Transportation costs remain low thanks to lighter traffic and shorter travel distances. Mississippi doesn't constantly add fees, surcharges, or premium pricing to everyday life. Life simply costs what it should cost. Another major advantage: Social Security benefits are not taxed in Mississippi. That means retirees keep the full value of their monthly check. Over the course of a year, that financial breathing room adds up. Healthcare access in Mississippi is often underestimated. While it may not have massive metropolitan medical systems, the state offers regional hospitals and healthcare networks that serve retirees effectively. Many retirees find the balance between healthcare access and affordability works well for their needs. Lifestyle also plays a role. Mississippi offers warm weather, slower-paced communities, and strong local culture. There is far less pressure to constantly spend money to feel entertained. Community gatherings, outdoor activities, and local traditions provide plenty of ways to stay engaged without stretching the budget. Mississippi may not be flashy, but for retirees living on Social Security, it offers something increasingly rare in America: financial breathing room, and that alone makes it one of the most practical retirement states in the country. Number 3, West Virginia. West Virginia is one of the most overlooked states in America, not because it doesn't work for retirees, but because it rarely advertises itself. There are no massive retirement marketing campaigns, no luxury retirement resorts designed to attract wealthy newcomers. Instead, West Virginia quietly offers something that many retirees are desperately searching for today: affordability, and lots of it. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in West Virginia typically ranges between $1,250 and $1,750 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, everyday living expenses. In smaller towns and rural communities, many retirees find themselves living comfortably toward the lower end of that range. Housing is where West Virginia truly stands out. Median home prices remain among the lowest in the entire country. That means Social Security income can cover housing costs without consuming the entire monthly budget. Many retirees still live in modest single-family homes, with quiet yards, garages, and peaceful surroundings, something that has become increasingly difficult to find in high-cost states. Renters benefit as well. Across much of West Virginia, rental prices remain far below national averages. This allows retirees to live comfortably without feeling financially trapped by housing costs. Property taxes also remain relatively manageable compared to many other states. That keeps long-term housing expenses predictable. One of the most important factors for retirees living on fixed incomes, daily living costs follow the same pattern. Groceries tend to cost less. Utilities remain manageable despite the state experiencing all four seasons. Transportation costs stay relatively low thanks to lighter traffic and shorter travel distances. West Virginia simply hasn't built its economy around extracting every dollar from residents. Life here still feels grounded. Another advantage retirees appreciate is taxation. West Virginia has gradually reduced taxes on Social Security benefits, and many retirees end up paying little to nothing on their benefits depending on income levels. That helps Social Security income stretch even further. Healthcare access is often better than people expect. While the state is largely rural, regional hospitals and medical centers serve retirees across the state. Many retirees find that the balance between affordability and healthcare access works well for their needs. Lifestyle is another reason many retirees quietly choose West Virginia. The state offers breathtaking mountain scenery, peaceful small towns, and outdoor recreation opportunities that cost very little. Hiking trails, fishing streams, scenic drives through the Appalachian Mountains, local community festivals, all without the high costs found in popular tourist states. Life here moves slower, and for many retirees, that slower pace feels like a return to something they thought America had lost. West Virginia doesn't promise luxury retirement, but it does offer space.com and financial relief. And for retirees living on Social Security, those three things can change everything. Number 2, Tennessee. At number 2, we arrive at a state that many retirees are starting to recognize as a strategic retirement destination. Tennessee combines several advantages that make a big difference for people living on fixed incomes. But the biggest one is simple. Tennessee has no state income tax. That means Social Security benefits are completely untouched at the state level. No deductions, no complicated thresholds, no bureaucratic math. What lands in your bank account each month is actually yours to spend. For retirees living on Social Security, that alone can feel like getting a raise. Now let's talk about overall living costs. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in Tennessee typically ranges between $1,450 and $1,950 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, everyday expenses. While some areas, especially booming cities, have seen price increases, Tennessee remains highly affordable once you step outside the most expensive metro neighborhoods. Many retirees choose smaller cities and towns where costs remain far more manageable. Housing flexibility is one of Tennessee's biggest advantages. The state offers a wide variety of communities. Quiet rural towns, mid-sized cities, suburban areas with easy access to healthcare and services. Home prices vary widely, but outside major boom zones, many retirees still find modest homes at reasonable prices. Property taxes are also relatively low compared to many states. That helps keep long-term housing costs stable. Daily living expenses stay manageable as well. Groceries remain affordable. Utility costs are reasonable throughout the year. Transportation costs stay relatively low thanks to shorter commutes and lighter traffic in many communities. Healthcare access is another major strength. Tennessee has a strong network of hospitals, specialists, and medical centers across the state. Cities like Nashville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga offer excellent medical care, while smaller regional centers provide reliable services in surrounding communities. For retirees on Medicare, this balance between access and affordability provides important peace of mind. Lifestyle also plays a big role. Tennessee offers 4 seasons without extreme winters, warm summers, beautiful mountains in the east, lakes, parks, and scenic countryside throughout the state. Retirees can stay active without needing an expensive lifestyle. Hiking trails, community festivals, local music events, outdoor recreation, there's plenty to do without constantly spending money. And that combination of tax advantages, moderate living costs, and lifestyle flexibility makes Tennessee one of the smartest retirement choices in America. But there is still one state that stands above the rest. Number 1, Texas. Texas earns the number 1 spot on this list for one simple reason. It offers retirees freedom and flexibility on a scale few states can match. Let's start with the biggest financial advantage. Texas has no state income tax. That means Social Security benefits are not taxed at the state level. Retirees keep every dollar of their monthly check. No deductions, no complicated exemptions, no income thresholds. For retirees living on fixed incomes, that financial simplicity is incredibly valuable. Now let's look at the overall cost of living. For a single retiree, the estimated monthly cost of living in Texas typically ranges between $1,500 and $2,000 per month. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, daily expenses. Now it's true that some major Texas cities have become expensive, but that's not the Texas many retirees choose. Outside major metro hotspots, Texas offers hundreds of smaller cities and towns where living costs remain surprisingly manageable. Housing flexibility is where Texas truly shines. Retirees are not locked into one lifestyle. They can choose quiet, rural communities, smaller towns, suburban areas near mid-sized cities, or active retirement-friendly communities. Home prices vary widely, but many areas still offer modest homes at reasonable prices. Property taxes can be higher than the national average in some places, but many retirees balance that with lower home prices and the absence of state income tax. Daily living expenses remain manageable. Groceries are affordable. Utility costs stay reasonable despite the warm climate. Transportation costs stay low thanks to wide roads and shorter commutes in many areas. Healthcare access is another major advantage. Texas has one of the largest healthcare networks in the United States. Hospitals, specialists, and medical centers are spread throughout the state. Whether in large cities or regional hubs, retirees typically find strong healthcare access nearby. For retirees on Medicare, that accessibility offers valuable peace of mind. Lifestyle also plays a major role in Texas's appeal. The state offers incredible diversity in living environments. Quiet countryside towns, lake communities, desert landscapes, coastal areas, hill country villages, active suburban communities. Retirees can choose the lifestyle that fits them best, not the one they're forced into by high costs. And that freedom is exactly what makes Texas stand out. Texas doesn't promise cheap retirement everywhere. What it offers instead is control. Control over lifestyle, control over housing choices, control over how far your Social Security income can stretch. And for retirees trying to make their fixed income work in a changing economy, that flexibility is incredibly powerful, which is why Texas earns the #1 spot on this list. And there you have it. 10 hidden affordable U.S. states where you can still live comfortably on Social Security. If there's one important lesson from this list, it's this. Retirement success isn't only about how much money you receive each month, it's about where that money is being spent. In some parts of the country, Social Security barely covers basic expenses, but in other places, that exact same income can still provide a comfortable, stable life. Location changes everything, and sometimes the best retirement destinations aren't the ones with the biggest marketing budgets. They're the quieter states, the overlooked ones, the places where life simply costs what it should cost. If this video helped you think differently about retiring on Social Security, take a moment to hit the like button. It helps this information reach more retirees who are trying to make smart financial decisions. Also, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy honest, practical guidance about retirement, affordable living, and avoiding costly financial mistakes. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which state on this list surprised you the most? Or if you're already retired, where did you choose to live, and why? Your experience could help someone else make a smarter retirement decision. Thanks for watching, and remember, live simply, plan wisely, dream big, and don't forget the sunscreen.